All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praise and glory is unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Arachakwadash, that belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone. And greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you. Hopefully, elect Shalom unto you. I have a straightforward video here, and it's gonna take us through some of the things that have gone on over the past half a month, few weeks, but really in these last days, how the prophecies bring you through how the economics will collapse, as well as the NWO New World Order is tied into this, as well as World War III is tied into this, showing you that the prophecies are speaking. Okay, so real quick, let me start with this before I even get this. All right, so we know that, I'll just read it. It says an electronic stock quotation board inside the building in Tokyo, seen on August the 2nd, 2024. All right, Japanese stocks suffered their biggest ever daily loss Monday as fears about a U.S. economic slowdown sent shockwaves through global markets. Okay, and as you begin to speculate, that word up, right? Speculate on what's going on in the world. Whoa, why is this happening? Well, we understand why this is happening. Okay, you can speculate that it's funny that there's money in the economic issues, but there's a president that's great at economics and running a business. Okay, you can speculate, but the prophecy supports, which we know is the NWO. Okay, as well as when the markets are funny, then comes World War, then comes a spark in economics. Okay, and I'll show you that real quick. Okay, this was an article on LinkedIn. How do wars affect stock market performance? Okay, and what do you see? You see Iran and Russia. Excuse me. You see Ukraine and Russia. You see Iran and Israel. Okay, and you see America playing with that whole thing as well, playing inside those wars as well. Okay, and so all of these things are the chessboard being moved around, chess pieces being put in position to come into a new world order. Okay, but let me show you the graph on this. Yeah, this graph right here. Now we can see there's World War I, 1914 to 1918. Then the Roaring Twenties, shit skyrocketed. Then boom, it collapsed during the Great Depression. Came back up, World War II, right? Then boom, post-war boom, right, with the Korean War right on its back. Okay? And this is no different. From pretty much from the Korea War on, after that was the Cold War, and it was the threat of war, okay, between Russia and America, right, and all its details of drama, right. So you see, and this graph and this page actually explains it, which is pretty good. But I don't want to hinge too deep into that, as I want to show. Showing you the bigger picture here, that this is a world NWO issue here. So in this article here on MSN.com, this is the article from 2 months ago where it says World Economic Forum founder Klaus Schwab stepping down by 2025. Now, as we get into this article, tells about Klaus Schwab and all of that. Now, down here it says Schwab chose the Alpine location in Davos in a bid to make guests feel relaxed and speak freely. Because what you don't see at these Geneva conventions and Davos and all these other situations where they have these big world meetings. Okay, and I'm going to give you what they do at these meetings, but what you don't have is you don't have large crowds of people coming up to those mountains and protesting, okay, trying to apprehend the elite, because that's who shows up at these things, the world's elite, you know, at the gates, right? Even though people do show up, but they're not storming the gates and really breaking and making hell, right? But it says, in a bid to make guests feel relaxed and speak freely. Why? Because you got something evil you're saying in there, right? According to the Geneva-based nonprofit's website, the slogan of committed to improving the state of the world. Well, the Heavenly Father had the blueprint on the world. Okay, after the creation, He saw the way it was, but we know is according to Job the 9th chapter, the 24th verse, which says He giveth the earth into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, who and where is He? It's this man that's doing it. It's this man right here. Not just this individual, but his people. Okay, it's the Edomites to be playing about it. Okay. And then it continues to say, I'll read it again. With the slogan of committed to improving the state of the world, the forum attracts global attention and criticism, as well as a helping of conspiracy theories. Okay, this goes right along with everything they're doing in there. Okay, Schwab, I don't want to read, y'all read it. Schwab, born in Germany to parents of Swiss origin, while the organization he founded has frequently faced the charge of elitism, Schwab has consistently stressed the need for the kind of global cooperation it offered. Okay, but they don't let you see the end game that they've come out with. These are presented in a certain way, but then we know the end game. Why? Because the scriptures prophesy the end game, okay, which is the New World Order. This is what they want to accomplish. What they in complete control with the technocracy, where it fulfills the image of the beast. Okay, and the beast is the rebirth of the Roman Empire. It's that Roman Empire structure, power structure that they had. They had it with war. They had it over the people. Okay, they had the money under control. With different inflation and all kinds of things in ancient Rome. It went down for a period of 1,000 years, and they came back during the Renaissance. And now that structure is back and is backed by technocracy now. Okay, so now they can fulfill it. Okay, which we'll get into that in Revelation the 13th chapter briefly, right? But it says, quote, big challenges, environmental. We see the green and global warming and all of that. Poverty, that's always an issue with ever rising prices in the earth, right? Cannot be solved by governments alone, or by business alone, or by civil society. So they have to step in. They're a private company. If you read up above, where did it say? Where did it say? See, non-executive role. Where did it say it in here? It said, let me find it real quick. It's right in this article. Earlier. Corporate management. Let's see. Financiers. Yeah, literally in the following decades, the event ballooned to become an annual gathering of some 2,500 corporate executives, financiers, and politicians and other public figures from more than 100 countries, addressing matters such as inequality, migration, digital innovation, and globalization. You see, when you put those together, they have to create a system to create the New World Order. Why would anybody give up, will run an organization like this and an event like this, excuse me, if they didn't want world control and world dominance? Well, when you go into the scriptures, which I'm not going to do, but you see this, basically they just want the blessing back, okay? Esau wants his blessing that Jacob supplanted him for, but it was prophecy that he would get it. Okay, now I'm trying to see where it said this at. They called it a non-profit, is what they called it. Yeah, there it goes right there. Yep, it says according to the Geneva-based non-profits website. And so it's a non-profit. Okay? So this is just a group of elites getting together and putting a plan together. And yes, you think Big Donnie DJ is trying to break this up. He's not breaking it up. He's going right along with it. Okay? He's going right. He'll play the role of being against world government, but he's with it. He's not going to do anything that any other president or Kamala or whomever else is in there is going to continue to push forward towards. You look back all the agendas of the presidents previous to these two running now, and they just only forwarded the New World Order agenda. Okay? There's nothing new happening, man. This is what they're doing. It says big challenges, environmental poverty cannot be solved by governments alone or by business alone or by civil society. Schwab told the Financial Times in defense of the conference in 2020, you need cooperation. Okay? You need cooperation. Well, how do you get the people to cooperate? Well, if you give them the implant, they'll take it. But all these other situations play into it. Okay? All the other situations play into it, like inflation, like collapse, financial collapse. Let's go to this. You need war. Okay, as I went here, you need war, right, for that to come in. But even here, I don't want to get this one just yet, not yet. Bear with. So now we have the two major groups, okay, world power structure groups assembling, right? And I'll ask Google, right, which European Union allies are now with the BRICS, right? It says the European Union, EU, has strategic partnerships with Brazil, India, and South Africa, which are all members of the BRICS group. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and was founded in 2009 by the governments of these countries. The term was originally coined in 2001 by Jim O'Neill, an economist at Goldman Sachs, who predicted that these countries would dominate global growth by 2050. The group's goal is to increase economic cooperation between its members and challenge the political and economic power of wealthier Western nations, which becomes the EU and NATO nations. Okay? In 2024, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the United Arab Emirates joined BRICS. Okay? And Saudi Arabia participates as an invited nation. Together, BRICS members represent 45% of the world's population and 30% of its land. Some say that the EU has overlooked BRICS' rapid development over the last few years, and that its official documents about the group are more descriptive than analytical. However, the EU does engage with BRICS plus, those BRICS countries individually and has strategic partnerships with some of them. Okay? So these two groups of what do they call them? Economic, where did it go? Economic and where did it go? Bear with me. I want to get the right quote. Yeah, I thought it said it. Yep, challenge the economic and political and economic power. Okay, so they're challenging that, and that's why you see Russia leading the charge. But that's also prophecy when you get into Ezekiel 38. Some of the guard that Russia's being in that chapter to those weaker nations are military mostly, but they're also doing other business with them, economic business with them, okay, strengthening the economies of those BRIC nations. That's why these other countries are getting involved. The Irans, the Egypts, Ethiopias, United Emirates, okay? And all this builds up to now they're going to have to put it down on one currency, okay? They're going to start looking for something digital and biometric, which, because we know what this, the end game that the Heavenly Father wants, right? So Habakkuk 2 says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And we're watching this vision speak, this prophecy speak. This is the end because it's beginning to speak. Okay? It says, and not lie. Okay? Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. It's not going to go on forever as it seemed in past times. It's going to start moving forward, and we're starting to see this thing, or we've been seeing this thing continue to move forward faster and faster, and more coming to pass. We're seeing the micro C-hip, okay, MOTB implant system. We're seeing that being built up right before our eyes. We see the economy is collapsing, because when it collapses, problem, reaction, solution, they're able to bring it into one currency that can now reach with different countries where there's no agreement between. Okay, and it's just gonna. Matter of fact, where is that article? Yeah, this was one of the articles just from a day ago. And this is pandemic news, but it's all tied in, right? Because that's what that in Davos, what they do up there at the World Economic Forum, right? It says new European Union vaccination card used to control bank access, right? It says this week Dutch lawyer Mike Terhorst discusses EU's plan for the EVC, European Vaccination Card, to global push towards implications for medical and health freedom and digital ID. Right, when you get down into it, it says, I'll read down a couple paragraphs. Next month, the EU, which started the creation of digital VACA passports, will begin its test run of a new EVC in Portugal, Latvia, Greece, Germany, and Belgium. Right? This card claims to improve continuity of care around the EU and foster educated decision making, as well as has the goal of empowering people by consolidating all their information, VACA information, in a single accessible location. You see it? The goal of the program is to be implemented all throughout Europe, the European Union, by the year 2026. Seems to be benign, but critics say the card is a stepping stone for future mandatory VACAs. Okay? All right? Now let me go further. Okay, Watcher.guru. It's a BRICS. Two new countries start buying oil from Iran and ditch the U.S. Okay, so this is not helping the economies that are based in that U.S. dollar, but that's the point of BRICS, that they're able to move around that U.S. dollar, okay, because they're starting to hate the whore, okay, and it's going to get to the point where the beast, which is the EU, NATO nations that are allied to America, is going to start to hate the whore as well. Right, it says BRICS member Iran is finding new countries to sell its oil and giving the U.S. a run for its money. Iran's oil production now hits its highest since 2018, allowing it to export the commodity to new countries. Despite the U.S. sanctions, Iran is looking to boost its economy through exports with the help of new countries. All right. BRICS, the U.S. dollar might not remain universal currency. It's another article. It says the two new countries that have agreed to buy oil from Iran are non-BRICS nations. Since the U.S. has placed sanctions on Iran, chances are high that the trade could be settled in local currencies. Read here to know how many sectors in the U.S. Will be affected if BRICS ditches the dollar for trade. You see it? So the economy is going to collapse. Okay, and the scriptures talk about that. BRICS, Iran finds two new. It says that again. Okay. Start running. Is it just repeating everything? No, it's talking about more barrels, but you get the gist of what this is talking about. In world reserves far below 60%. Look, new countries getting invited to the BRICS summit. Look, you're just seeing all this happening, and this all spells bad news for America. Okay, let's get some prophecy on that. Back in Habakkuk, we'll start there. I'll continue at 4. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yeah, he that soul is lifted up. It's talking about you Edomites, man. Okay, you guys don't do good business. You're ruling the world, but you're just not an upright and moral people. All right, but the just, the righteous shall live by faith, by his faith, right? Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, which is philosophy. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, yet he be everywhere in the world trying to control things. And that's some of the things they talk about at the WEF. Who enlargeth his desire as hell, meaning he's never, it's what's going to say it, and is as death and cannot be satisfied. But gathered unto him all nations. They want him to use the currency that they want. Okay, and they had everybody connected to this U.S. dollar, but as it's beginning to inflate, and it eventually will hyperinflate and collapse, they're going to have another solution to it, okay? Which is a digital currency, all right? But gathered unto him all nations, and heaped unto him all people. And even I had an article with Trump saying that he would never get down with the CBDC, okay? But we'll see. It's easy to say now. Well, as a matter of fact, I'm going to get that, but it says, I think I know where I can find that clip from, but it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay? Okay, now let's get that in another translation. Habakkuk 2:6 in the AMP, it says, will all these victims of his greed not take up a taunting song against him? Because they're doing this on purpose, but America's the culprit, because America's that place in the earth that you can make deals with, but it's based on credit. And America has no, it's a credit-based system. They have a fiat currency. Okay, it's not even real. It's like playing with monopoly money. You gave me real product, and I bought it with monopoly money. So how long till you really got to pay this back? Well, it sounds good that we're trading in oil, but now that everybody's getting around the sanctions and getting out of that situation because they're not getting their money back, they got bread playing with America. They got bread expected to them, but America ain't gonna ever pay. Okay, that's what it says here. Will all these victims of his greed take up a taunting song against him, and in mocking derision against him, say, woe, judgment is coming to him that increased that which is not his? How long will he possess it? And woe to him who makes himself wealthy with loans. Okay, and when you read up, and I'm trying to see this one, the NSAB 20, will all of these not take up a song of ridicule against him, even a saying and insinuations against him, and say, woe to him who increase what is not his? For how long? And makes himself rich with debts? Okay, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today or oil today for consumer goods today. Okay? This place is just BS in the world, and they're starting to catch on. That's why when you go into the book of Revelation, Revelation 18 and 3, and you see that war is all tied to this as well. Because when you read up, which I will, verse 2, and he cried, well, I'll start at 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lighted with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great, which is America, okay, is fallen, because when you look at this place, it's a place of confusion, which it goes, Babylon, the root word is Babal, a Hebrew word that means confusion. And it's not the same Babylon as ancient Babylon. It's not the same landmass, and the same people don't rule it. When you go into Isaiah, it shows you that they talk about the Edomites in the later prophecies of that book and being connected to Babylon, right? But it says, and it's become the habitation of devils, okay, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird, okay, meaning it's going to be destroyed into a wilderness, a desert wilderness, and all those desert creatures are going to be here still, okay, because it's going to be destroyed. And when you go to Joel, real quick, Joel 2 and in the 3rd chapter, I'll go quickly through this. Verse 3, straight to the point. It's going into it, you can read it. But verse 3, the point, it says, a fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, yea, behind them a desolate wilderness. And that's talking about America after the missiles hit it. Will be like a desolate wilderness. Okay, it's all thriving and life going on over here now. But after these missiles hit, it's going to be that cage of every evil and hateful bird. Okay, talking about them desert creatures. Okay, it's going to be a place of memorial of how not to live in the earth, similar to Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, it says, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. Then it goes on to speak of description of the chariots. Now, when you go to the 3rd chapter, okay, it speaks of what happened in the Middle East. And when you jump down, particularly, I'm going to go straight to verse 11. Verse 9 talks about the other weaker nations becoming strong, backed by Russia, ties you into Ezekiel 38, okay, and being a guard unto those nations in verse 10, sharing his all with shield and buckler and helmets and all of that, right? But you get to 11, it says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither call thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yehoshaphat, which is in that Fertile Crescent area in the Middle East, right? Where you can see them all gathering, and where the deals are being made, okay, for certain oil in those rich lands. Okay. It says, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay. And so you see that world war is coming into that area, into the world at that time. Okay. And so it's showing you that these nuclear capable situations are to follow. And these elite in the WEF, they want this to happen as well. So they can have this world war, and their economies can have a solution to it by bringing in the new currency that's supposed to take them to the elite level where they can't come down out of power. Okay, because they're going to control it from a technocracy standpoint. All right, that's the things that they're talking about. All right, so as I brought that up in with Japan and America's involvement in that, how even America's markets felt that, but they have to pump money back into the system so it doesn't completely collapse, because they don't believe everything's in proper order, but it's close. Right, so Ecclesiastes 12 says, remember now thy creator, in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. And what's part of those evil days? Jacob's trouble, economic collapse, world war, okay, financial wars, famine, pestilence. All these things are coming. Thus saith the scriptures, okay? And it says, come back to the Heavenly Father to be in the strong tower and be protected from these things. Nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Okay? While the sun and the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, because the times are going to get so dark to the point that the chariots are even going to cover the sky, the missiles are going to cover the sky. Okay? All these things are going to happen, but the evils are going to really cover as well. Okay? And that's when it's really going to get bad. The evils in the earth are going to come so hard that the collapses and all these things that are going to happen, the hyperinflation and all of this is going to happen to where there's no hope for the people, okay? Unless you remember the Creator in the days of thy youth, okay? Nor the clouds return after the rain, right? Because normally after the rain, then the sky is usually clear and bright. But the clouds returning means it's only going to be more trouble. It says, verse 3 was now to the point, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease no work, because they are few. The jobs are collapsing. I think a brother sent an article. I didn't get a chance to read it, but it was saying even Big Lots was about to lose thousands or hundreds, I forgot, of locations. They may even just fold. I got to look into that. It says, because there are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. All these financial economists and analysts, they don't see good things coming. Okay? But this is part of what they're looking into in Davos for this to happen, but at the WEF, but they're also is what the Heavenly Father wants. Okay? So the doors shall be shut in the streets, and we're seeing a lot of companies collapse. When the sound of the grinding is low, it won't be any work. And they have an issue, a solution for it already, for this issue. UBI, the Universal Basic Income. Okay, this ties in as well as, and this was going to tie into another article, a lesson later, or when I'm able to put it out as well, with these robots replacing jobs in the UBI system. Okay? Where the humans get basic things, but I'll tie that into something later, but all this plays into this. They have it all worked out, and they worked it out up there in Davos. Okay, now they're trying to make sure it gets laid out the right way. And yeah, though Schwab is doing it, the highest elites, those 13 elite banking families with the Rothschilds and so on and so forth, okay, they're all making sure that this moves in the way that they can have complete control over the world. And they have certain people set up to where they push certain agendas. We see what Gates, is pushing the pandemic. I should say that the pestilence. Okay, there's some pushing that. There's some pushing economic collapses. There's some pushing war. Okay, all these different things are all set up for certain agendas to come to fruition, so they can continue to control them and have more control in the earth. All right. It says, and when the daughters, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, no reason to get up at the alarm clock no more, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because no man goeth his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. Okay, it's not gonna, like we saw the earth healing during the shutdown. It's gonna overgrow because there's nothing is gonna be so long before anything changes, and there won't be a change. Okay, or the silver cord loosed, or the golden bowl broken, or the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the cistern. There's nothing to put together that's gonna save this place and bring it back. All right, now when you look at this article here, all right, this is from the Wall Street Journal. This is from a while back. I've had this. It actually slipped through the cracks on me. This is back in June. It says, wanting to pay cash, that'll cost you extra, right? Which it says when Noah Kamala recently tried to pay cash for popcorn and a soda at Yankee Stadium, his almighty dollar struck out. And I believe it's that same way here in Vegas at the stadium, the Raiders Stadium here. I can't think of the name of it right now. Wow, I'm drawing blank. But it says the stadium's concession stands no longer take cash. An employee directed him to a kiosk that could convert his greenbacks into plastic. Okay. Kamala, 41 years old, fed 200 into the reverse ATM. Think about that, where it takes cash now and gives you plastic instead of you putting plastic in it, and it gives you cash out, which subtracted $3.50 fee and spat out a debt card with a balance of $96.50. Right, paying for anything in New York is expensive already, said Kamala, and who lives in the city. If you add on top of that extra fees for being able to pay for food, that's not right. He said paying with cash used to be a way to get a discount. These days it can cost an extra $1 to $6. The sort of transaction fees, because they're moving toward the digital technocracy. Okay? And in the war, I'm telling you, they're rolling these things out, and this is going to be the answer. That image of the beast will be the answer. That technocracy will be the answer. Okay? Once limited to swiping a credit card, or using an out-of-network ATM. It's out of network, man, and them fees kill you. Reverse ATMs like those at Yankee Stadium are now common at cashless venues and restaurants across the country as a way to cater to those who prefer paying with cash. Let's see. It's now common at cashless venues and restaurants across the country as a way to cater to those who prefer paying in cash. People who want to pay their parking tickets, tolls, taxes, or phone bills in cash, meanwhile, often learn that government agencies and businesses have outsourced that option to companies that usually charge a fee. And this ties in to that digital Vodka card I was mentioning earlier. So you can now move all throughout the EU at this time, but you'll be able to move throughout the world with the convenience of the card making the transaction change over for you. Okay, so if you have greenbacks, you don't have to go to the money changers and the exchangers to take money from one place, switch it over, and then move it into another place where one's hyperinflated and one's collapsing, or whatever the case may be, or strong or stable. Well, when you switch over, it just automatically does it for you. Okay, so they're giving convenience as always going to be, but really the convenience equals more control, which is the point of this article. You can read more of it for yourself. It just goes deeper into that and how much it can cost you, right? Real quick, why I was referring to this, okay, which is said, see, it got those EU ones right there. But you see how they're connecting the health to the money. Okay? So I'm back in this here in Revelation 18. Then I'll get Revelation 13 and close. It says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, done business. Okay? With America. Babylon the Great. Okay, they've done business over here, and now they're in bed, so they're trying to figure a way to get around all the sanctions and the taxes and the fees of dealing with this U.S. dollar that really has no real backing behind it, right? It says, but Russia's doing good deals, and that's why the BRICS nations are now expanding and some are even leaving. I think Saudi Arabia left and was looking to get into the BRICS. Right? It says, and the merchants of the earth are waxing rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay, doing business over here. Okay, so they got money on the books to make. Right? It says, I must skip verse 4 because that's about the missiles hitting and our people being delivered out of there. All right, but when you come to verse 5, verse 6. It says, reward her. Oh, that's still talking about that. So I'll read it because it all goes together. Back at verse 4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, of the destruction that happens to this place for all the wickedness that goes on here. Okay? And that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously on the backs of the Israelites, and on swindling these nations, bringing up this heavy debt and loans with greed, right? So eventually the Heavenly Father is going to step in and take this place out. Because if you don't, it's like dealing with a crime organization. If you don't come with your money to them, they'll bring the military, the muscle out and get you. But then they'll half-ass pay you with their fiat currency and put sanctions on the people around, or you got to do business with them. You can't go around and do business with anybody else because it's going to be more expensive. It's almost redundant. Okay? But this is how this place works. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen, I miss some. How much has she glorified herself and lived deliciously? So much torment and sorrow give her. Right? With the collapse, with civil war, with race riot, okay, with famine, with natural disaster, okay, martial law, all these things are coming to this place. And then world war eventually as well. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. The pride of this place. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her. Okay, and we understand that this is the end game. Okay, this is the end game that the Heavenly Father wants. So if you're not paying attention to all the things that's lining up in this NWO building system, the image of the beast building system, okay, that's being built right before your eyes, the hypocrisies and all these other things going on, hey man, it's only going to be bad for you. Okay, especially because if you're so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American, or an Israelite foreigner scattered amongst the heathen that may even look like the heathen, you have an opportunity that the Spirit, Lord willing, will be awakened in you, and you'll move with fear and reverence for the Heavenly Father, that you may be chosen of the elect and saved. All right, it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, for they shall see the smoke of her burning. Okay, because they see that, dang, this has gotten bad because we were doing good business. We still have money on the books, but when you read down, it'll be like, I mean, they sell everything. But you're going to see that the profit of this place, they start to realize they're never going to get their money back. Okay? And World War III is going to take it off, and now you ain't got to worry about this whore wandering the earth, destroying things. Okay? Now let's go into what the solution they believe they're going to have when this place collapses, which will come before the destruction. Okay? That we just read about. All right. I'll start at verse 11, Revelation 13, verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and it had two horns like a lamb, and spake as a dragon. Okay. And this is that the rebirth of that first beast, which was the last beast of the four beasts from the prophecy in Daniel, okay, which was the Roman Empire, okay. But it went down, as it'll read, and said, had a deadly wound that was healed in verse 12. I'll get to it. Matter of fact, it said, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. Okay, it's that model of the Roman Empire coming back into structure, back into power. Okay, because it went down for 1,000 years, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, this Roman system, whose deadly wound was healed. Okay, meaning they went out of power and then they came back into power. Okay, and they brought back up that same structure, and it was still again Edomites. Okay, particularly with them certain nations that came back. Okay, same regions in the earth that came back. That same control that the Roman Empire once had, they got that land and that control back, and now they're ruling again. Okay, with the same type of structure. It says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And that's what that Isaiah the 54th chapter, 16th verse, speaking of that I create the waster to destroy. Okay, I've created the smith to blow up the coals. I've created the waster to destroy. That's those nuclear missiles that when you go into that's going to make this place a desolate wilderness and a cage of every foul bird. Okay, that I've read about already, talking about those nukes. Okay, and when they dropped the other bombs before the nukes on the other countries in World War II. Okay, and so they scared everybody into submission, being that bully in the earth. And we know they're bullying over there in the Middle East. To now, Russia has that other bomb that's just as big or bigger, that's strengthening the other ones in the nations from Joel the second chapter, the third chapter. Right? Now, continuing on, verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. And a lot of the miracles that they're doing is through their technology and science, which had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, make a way of life to give allegiance unto the beast. Okay, being a godless people. Okay, being a people completely controlled by technology. You're being watched. You're being controlled. You can only do what they limit you to do, having godlike power over the people. And you will accept, and you have to, what did Klaus Schwab say? But we need cooperation also. Okay? And people are going to cooperate. If you cut people's food off, you cut them off from society, they'll be willing to cooperate to be a part of society. Okay? Which, when we get to the MOTB particularly, it'll say it. Okay? Verse 14, in the middle says, which had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had a wound by a sword and did live. Okay, that deadly wound was healed. That was that ancient Roman Empire coming back into this Roman Empire version of the EU NATO nations. Okay, it says, and had power to give life unto the image of the beast, with the science that the image of the beast, that way of life, should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast, that would not cooperate, should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, everybody, right, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, and that MARK is that charagma, that palisade, that impaling. You know, when you get deeper into the word, which you'll get into the implant. Okay, and but charagma is more of that badge of servitude when you get into it. Okay, but it'll be a charax or that palisade impaling. Okay, so it'll be pricked into you, or pricked into you with a stake, which, you know, you understand it. It's a syringe. Okay, And that's how you're going to put that in there. So they'll be able to control everything, your digital identity, your biometrics, your health, okay, with the Vodka card, okay, your banking, everything. Okay, so you can now move around. I'm healthy, and I got money to be here, and I got, a good social credit score to be here as well. Okay, all this is going to be in there. I got money from my UBI. All of this is going to be involved in this. Okay, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark, or the look. And if you can't buy or sell, unless you have this thing, you can't participate in society. You don't have the money, as well as you won't be able to purchase anything or sell anything. Meaning you'll be X'd out of society. Okay, you'll starve to death or whatever the case. You won't get your new vodka, which you shouldn't be doing as an Israelite anyway. You should be living a healthier dietary law, right, within yourselves, as well as abstaining from a lot of the things society has. But it's against our biblical laws to get that injection. All right? It says, save he that hath the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for the number of a man, and his number is 666. All right? And showing you it's digital, because even on the barcodes, they have that, the 6, 6, and the 6, with the two little thin lines at the beginning, the middle, and the end of all those other numbers, okay, with signifying an easy scanning situation for the technology that the barcode is on. Okay, so this is the system set up, but all these things are playing into their hand. Okay, and we know from 2 Corinthians, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We see the bigger picture. That's why it's so important that we turn to the Creator in the day of our youth before the evil days come nigh. And you should have no pleasure in it. Before you get too attached to this, you want to detach from this system, that you may be beamed up out of here, man, and escape all the perils and the judgments of this place, man. Okay? So Lord willing, this was edifying. Give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yashai, Bashim, Hakodash, until the next one, Shalom.